Thank you for watching the Community Spotlight. I'm your host, Tatia Harris. It's an honor to have you tuning into the program today. We have a wonderful guest in the studio. Comedian NIKITA B is in the house. She has been doing comedy shows all around the Queen City and America. And so I'm looking forward to her going global. Anyway, we want to get a little bit into her background, how she got into comedy, and what actually brought her here to the great city of Charlotte. How you doing today, NIKITA B?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Glad to be here.
It's a pleasure again to have you here. So I just want to know, where are you originally from?
I am originally from Pageland, South Carolina, but I grew up in Lancaster, South Carolina. If you're not from Lancaster, you say Lancaster, but... You
might be my cousin. You grew up in Lancaster.
I might be.
Okay, so what brought you here to the Queen City?
Working. Like as my kids say, my real job, I'm a nurse. So I've always worked in Charlotte. I've always worked in North Carolina, so that's what brought me to North Carolina.
So how did you wind up from nursing into comedy?
I lost my mom 3 years ago to breast cancer. And
sorry to hear that.
Thank you. She was a minister. My dad's a pastor. And I wanted to do something for him for his birthday so he wouldn't be down and out, because it would be his first one without mama. So we had a comedy show at the church, and I hired a guy to come in, and I said, I'm gonna perform too, because I knew I could make my dad laugh, because we always cutting up. And it was after that show, a lady came to me. She was like, can I have your booking information? And I was like, I didn't know I was bookable, you know?
Like, it was just natural.
I was just doing it.
Okay.
But from that day to this current one, it has been on fire.
It just started from there.
It started from there.
Okay, so how did you initially market yourself for folks to know what you were doing?
Well, actually it happened when I had family, friends, co-workers always tell me, you need to be a comedian, you know, because we would cut up. But I went to Scandalos. It was on Independence, and Chris Funny Man Robinson. I went to him after the show, and I said, I want to be on the stage. He was like, all right. He was like, I'm going to let you do it, but I'm telling you, if you ain't no good, they going to let you know. So I got nervous, but I was like, I'm still going to do it. And I invited some people out, and it was like over 50 people came out. One, because they didn't believe I was going to do it, and two, just to support me. I got a standing ovation. And he was like, I bet you can't do it next week. So I did it again that next week, and my following actually started from Scandalos, and it started from there.
So when you first got on the stage at Scandalos, which you were bold, and you know, a lot of people would be scared.
Yes,
you know, they have that fear. How did you play that off?
I took all the fear, the anxiety, and all that, and I just put it into what I was saying. My dad always told me, he said, you take fear, you jump with it, because you don't need to keep it with you.
So you might be an actress too, actually.
I could be, yeah. yeah, but that's how I started.
So you came back the next week, and next thing you know, it's the next week and the next week.
That's right.
And then it mushroomed from there. So tell us some of the places you performed.
Whenever I started at Scandalos, they told me, they said it'd be 3 to 5 years before you go like on a big stage or whatever. It was like maybe 3 months later, I was at Ovens Auditorium.
Wow.
And I was opening for...
is that favor or what?
That's favor. Honey, what? That is, that's favor. It is. I've been there like 3 times at Ovens. I've opened for Tamla Mann when she was in Rock Hill. I live in Rock Hill now. Well, I was living in Rock Hill. I've been to California. I've been to the BET Celebration of Gospel, performed at their prayer breakfast. I just recently aired on Bounce TV with Rodney Perry. I've done a lot. I've been to Philly several times. I've been all around.
So my question would be, how can you tell what's going to make people laugh?
The truth always makes people laugh, because you're not the only one going through what you're going through.
Okay.
So if you're able to talk about it, and you're able to just be transparent. Transparency sells, and it is fun, and you will get your followers, because people can relate to whatever type of child you're talking about. Somebody in that room have that same child. Somebody have that same spouse. Somebody's going through those same situations. So the truth makes them laugh every time.
So do you reinvent your material quite often? Are you using fresh material? Sometimes I see comedians, especially if they're on a tour, it's the same, you know, set of jokes, and they may use a few plugins for that particular area, as, you know,
right,
so people can relate to what they're talking about, but it's pretty much the same jokes. Is it like that?
Well, this is the thing, it's business. If you were to like your favorite song artist, when they make that CD and they put those songs on there, they don't sing different songs when they have concerts. They sing those same songs. And you will have people do the same thing with comedy, but it's the business of it. You have to have a foundation because you can't get up there stuttering and have people boo you. You can't get up there and do that. But at the same time, you can have people that even ask, why you didn't do the joke about your uncle? Well, you didn't do my joke this time. And I'm like, I do stuff different all the time. They're like, okay, well, we need you to do the other one. You know, it was that type thing. But I always have fresh material because, I mean, I'm a wife with 5 impossible children. That's what you have. You don't have comedy all the time.
Okay, now who's the possible?
Now, see, the possible comes from a nephew. He came to spend a night.
Okay.
When he was 4 months old.
He said, it's good over here. I'm not leaving.
He's 2 now. So it's a possibility he's going to stay, the possibility he'll go back. That's what I always tell him. We got a strong spade hand, 5 and impossible.
All right. So in order for you to reinvent your material quite often or have fresh material, you always pull from what's around you?
I do. All the time. Because it's hilarious. I mean, it's really not funny. But
so you like the Mom's Milk and Magnesia commercial. If it happened around you, somebody's in trouble.
That's right. That's right. They even asked, Mom, you going to talk about us today? Of course I am. Yeah, but that's how I deal with things too. Because even as a nurse, I know that whatever you keep in, you store. You got to process that thing and get it out. If not, you have other issues. And I'm already small. The last thing I need to do is lose weight. They're going to swear I'm on that stuff. That's
I think you look just fine.
Yeah. I don't need to lose no weight, though. I promise you that. Then they're going to say, oh, Lord, she going through. She must be on that stuff. You know, ain't nobody got time for that. So, you know, I want to stay healthy. So stress, worry, all that stuff, it'll kill you.
All right. So this is kind of like a remedy, a self-remedy for you to release, release your stress. And, of course, laughter for everyone else. That's a great thing to help them release stress as well.
Right. The Bible tells you that laughter is like medicine. It's good for the soul. That's what the word's saying. That's what I believe. But then on the flip side, medically, it tells you that when you laugh, you release endorphins that heals your body. That's a true story. So I help people laugh for the health of it.
Okay. That's the nurse side.
There you go.
Okay. So I think that's absolutely great. I'm sure your family is excited to see you every day.
They are. They are, even though they are determined to give me new material, you know. But that's just what I do. We went through a lot. Our family's been through a lot. We're going through stuff right now. Like actually, Tuesday night, we lost like 80% of everything to a house fire.
Oh my goodness.
So it was either, okay, you gonna get yourself together, you gonna show the kids and show everybody that you can still be positive, still have a smile on your face, even if you're feeling some kind of way inside. So I'm getting through all that just with laughter.
But you have insurance, right?
Oh yeah.
So you know what the good thing is? You can get everything brand new.
Yeah.
Take nothing but brand new.
Yeah. But see, this is the thing though. You got to get through the process, though. Yeah. You got to get from now until the check. So what you gonna do between now and the check? That's the process right there. You know. So that's the thing that we're going through right now.
They should be paying for your room.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. You pay for the room. I didn't have a problem paying my mortgage.
Yeah.
You still understand what I'm saying? But I mean, like, and it's materialistic things.
Yeah.
But I'm not used to not having shoes.
Oh yeah.
I'm not used to not having a coat to put on. You know, that type of thing. But
everything kind of all over the place.
There you go.
But you know the good thing about it, I had a neighbor that happened to, and he was very depressed, disappointed, and he's an older gentleman. So
you'll go through that.
Yeah, he told me that he was going to move. I said, you have a brand new house. You just said 80%. You about to have a brand new house.
Yeah.
Needless to say, once he went from that standpoint, he stayed, and they did an excellent job. So I'm hoping the same for you.
And I thank you.
All new clothes, all new furniture, all new everything.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
So that's gonna be the upside. You got a brand new house with no brand new money.
Yeah, right. And you know, my comedy family, they, when I tell you, they really, really have supported me. They have, because you got to have a community. You got to have a team. You know, and it's. I mean, I just can't say enough about them. Like immediately, like that next morning, I had 82 inboxes on Facebook. I had 52 text messages, and I had like 17 missed calls. They weren't playing. You know, they were like trying to get to me to see what do you need, where you guys at, what's going on, you know, that type of thing.
That's great.
So I'm thankful for them. That was just with the comic family. Then, you know, you got the church family. You know, you got your regular family, you know, so I'm just thankful that I got people that's willing to, you know, be there with me to walk me through this thing.
Well, that says something about you as a person also, because if you were not a great person outside, I'm just saying as a person, let's push comedy to the side.
That's
And
true.
if you didn't have a great personality and if you wasn't welcoming, these people wouldn't be reaching out to you. So, you know, you can really relate. You have a great rapport.
Yeah, you have to. Even, you know, I found humor in everything. And we pulled up, you see all the fire trucks, you see the commotion, you see everything that's going on, and the 2-year-old, the one we called Apostle, he said, "Mom, big trucks. Ooh, look at the lights. That's nice." I said, he just don't know they putting water on all his stuff, you know.
He found some joy.
Yeah,
Little
everything's
kids or
swimming
something.
in the house. He was like, "That's nice. Look at the lights." I'm like, boy.
How the other children taking it?
They teenagers, so they have great imaginations too. My daughter says she has a studio apartment. That's what she calls the room that she's in. And it was funny
That's the
because,
future comedian.
you know, we went to the hotel and the lady looked, she was like, you know, gave me her condolences and she was writing me in and she looked around and saw the kids. She was like, "Oh, all y'all together?" I was like, "Yes." "Oh, y'all need 2 rooms." I was like, "Yes, ma'am." You know, appreciate it because all of us being in like close quarters. Yeah, I said, "I'll let them boys' arms and feet stay to themselves and we can be in our room with clean air."
Okay, so when the fire happened, were you guys in the house?
No, and I thank God.
Well, that's a blessing.
My daughter, we actually had to go and pick her up from skating ring, and we told her at least 30 times no. And then someone was like, "Just let her go." So we let her go. If we had not had to leave home to go and pick her up, we would have been there. So of course she thinks she's the Messiah of the house. She saved our
She's the savior.
Yeah, she saved our lives, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah.
Like next time I want to go skate,
yeah,
you need to let me go.
Yeah, she tried that, but
Okay, so how are they mentally coping with this?
Well, they've mostly been trying to encourage me, you know, because I'm an encourager, I'm an inspirer. If you tell me that you want to do something, when you leave me, you're going to feel like you are the only person that's able to do it and you're going to do your best at it. So I instill that same thing in them too. You know, they let me know, "Mine don't matter. We're going to be all right. We straight. We got somewhere to stay," you know, that type thing. So just them reassuring me helps me feel better because as a parent, you want to make sure you're there for your kids, make sure they're good, you know. So
I think your children are very mature. I've seen other folks in situations like that, and they were just completely devastated.
Yeah.
You know, not looking at the whole picture, but
Right.
just the actual incident. And they just, sometimes we get so caught up in these materials.
We do.
But when we leave, we're not taking them with us anyway.
No, and you know what I thought about, even when I went through that, I was like, well, darn, I said, don't have the house. And then I looked at the hotel we was in, I said, but I have a roof over my head. Then I was like, Lord, I gotta go get my hair done. It's Easter
looks
Sunday.
great.
You know, I finally got it done. But I was like, but you know what? I can remember when my mom was crying because she didn't have hair from chemo and the radiation and things like that. Then I started not feeling so terrible about what I didn't have and start looking at the things that I did have. So if you look at what you have versus what you don't have, you'll be more grateful.
I think that's a good lesson for everyone to learn.
You have to.
What would you say to folks out there? Like, I have a friend right now that wants to become a comedian. And I've listened to some of his jokes. No offense, friend. But he needed a little bit of work. So what would you recommend to someone that wants to get into the business?
As a comedian, you have to get in front of the people. And this is the thing. Say, okay, to you, he may not have it all together, but they may be somebody else that just fall out their chair laughing. You know why? Because we all have a target audience. Everybody's not gonna like it.
I'm glad
Everybody's
you
not gonna
said
think
that.
you funny.
Yeah.
They just won't. You have to find your niche, find your target audience, and just go from there. And you find your audience by going in front of audiences.
Got you.
So you just gotta have that tough skin to be like, woo, you know, and just get through it. And know when you bombing. When you bombing, just help yourself and everybody else out. And, okay, that's my time, and walk off. You know, you don't have to suffer through that. He won't have us to suffer.
Okay. All right, so what's your niche?
My niche is, of course, parents. And if you have children, you'll get me, especially teenagers. If you have was raised with those old school tactics or things, you'll get me. You know, things like that. And of course, churches get me because I'm a pastor's kid, so I can relate to them. But I think that's my niche. 30 and over is my niche. I don't do the children. I have enough of them at home.
All right, so you stay consistently booked up all the time?
I do.
All right, that's great.
Yeah, enough for me not to have to work full time as a nurse.
Okay.
So for that, I'm thankful.
All right, so any of this passing on to the children?
Well, I think that little light-skinned little girl of mine, that's the one in the
one we
middle.
mentioned before?
Yeah. She make me feel like prison might not be that bad sometimes, you know, but she has a personality. She doesn't meet a stranger. She is hilarious. But she wants to be a judge, though, and I'm pushing her, you know, towards that. Yeah.
All right. So how do you make sure for these people out there that might want to get into comedy and they find their audience, they find their niche, how can they make sure they stay working?
You have to be present. You have to have social media presence. I think is wonderful because you got to let the people know where you at. You got to get people to come and check you out, and then you build your following. You have to be able to do that. So as a comedian, you have to know how to talk on stage and off. That's just what it is. You are your business. You are your brand. So if you want to be in different places, you have to put your brand in people's face.
What's the best form of marketing that you've used? Is it word of mouth or is it the social media?
I think so. I say social media because of this. You have to be somewhere and perform for word of mouth. So how you gonna get their mouth over there where you at?
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So that type of thing, yeah. But I've gotten all of my shows from word of mouth. That's why I know it's failing. I do. But now I'm getting to the point where I want to be on bigger platforms and do bigger things, so I got to have that business aspect of it.
So what if someone else says, hey, I want to have you at my birthday party. I want to have you at my anniversary.
I send them my website.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just available, period. They can just reach out to you.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not an event. Well, I'm not gonna say it's not one because then something happened to somebody, request me to come to some foolishness. But pretty much, whether it's an individual, or organization, or church, or whatever, I pretty much do it. But I have to have the background of the event and what's going on because I'm not gonna,
You're careful with your brand, where your feet go.
That's right.
All right. So what type of stuff will you not go to?
That's a good question. I put it like this: I won't go anywhere that jeopardize my values and my morals.
Okay.
I'm a
So
God.
what do they line up with, your values and morals?
Well, I'm a God-fearing person. I believe that you should love everybody. I do clean. Everything I do is clean.
Okay.
I don't cuss and go all off and stuff like that. So I don't want to be in an environment where that is totally what's going on. Now I have done shows in secular clubs or whatever, and still will, and I'm on a clean comic there. But at the same time, they respect me. They know Nikita B. We can be having a conversation like, "Oh, my bad, Nikita," like that type of deal, whatever. So if I feel uncanny or whatever about something, I won't do it. You always have that feeling. That whole thing.
This is not.
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
I feel it in my shana now.
This is not my clientele.
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever had anyone get mad at you, for using them in your material?
I don't use people. I only talk about me and mine.
Really?
That's right. My dad told me, he said, "Kita, people come to see a show, not be a part of one." So I don't bother them because you don't know what people going through. They might come there to need a lad to get their mind off something. You say something to that main one that said before they left home, if anybody say anything to me, I'm going off. So I don't want to be that person. All
right. So if I come to your comedy show, I don't have to be scared about sitting in the front. Whenever I go to comedy shows, I be like, I am not sitting up there in the very front. They will not get me.
No, I'm not that. I'm not that one. Now, if I see you there and you told me you was coming, then I might do something real sly like the auctioneers do or whatever. I might do something like that when I see or I might wink at a person. They know she saw me, but that's as far as it gets. No, I don't do that.
Now, is there some type of comedy flow or set formula that you do for your shows? Like when I first come on, will be my intro. This is gonna be my body. This is gonna be my outro.
Exactly right. I'm a writer. I've written a book that they're publishing now. I always wrote poems, and I'm a storyteller. I don't do punchline jokes like boom, bam. I don't do that. I'm a storyteller. So you have to prepare a story in a way where people want to follow you, and that's why I'm so blessed because people listen. If you get up there and you don't have your content together and you lose people, it's a wrap. So I know what I'm going to say when I first get up there. Now, I might not know the order of what I'm going to say in the body, but I know I'm going to talk about my children. I know I'm going to talk about my husband. I know I'm going to talk about the church. I know I'm going to talk about whatever happened that week, and we're going to figure that thing out, and then I know what my clothes is.
So what's going on with your children? You got some characters in the house.
Oh, yeah, I do. I have
Everybody had their own character going
Everybody
on.
have their own character. They do. And with the number of children that we have, usually if somebody's out there that's raising kids or raising teenagers, they probably have either went through what we're going through or they're going through it at that time. So by me being able to talk about it, you know, it helps them feel better. They was like, man, I thought I was the only one. Like, you ain't the only one, you know, so I'm very relatable.
I want to touch base on the book. What made you decide to write a book? What kind of book is it?
It's called True Story because that's what it is.
That's what you tell
That's what it is.
on the stage.
Yes. And I've been through a lot in life. And with the things that I went through, a lot of people didn't make it through their situations, and some may feel like they can't make it through theirs. So they'll be able to read themselves in a book from somebody who's been through those same things and seeing how I got through.
So this is like when you go to the sermon and the preacher's
there you're stepping on your toes
and you're
stuff.
sitting in the chair
Exactly
like,
right.
is that
Exactly
preacher
right.
talking to me?
Exactly right.
Yeah,
And
wait a minute.
yeah.
You telling my business up there.
Right, and that's even how I started the bias movement. Now, bias, of course, when you hear it, you think of prejudice. You think of people choosing one thing over another and different things like that. And that's what bias is, but I use it as an acronym. And bias means because I am somebody. So regardless of what you want to do, where you want to go, where you want to be, you can do it simply because you are somebody, regardless of what whoever said, regardless of who picked what over you, what job was chosen, and you knew you was a fit for it. It's okay. You'll still get to where you need to be because you are somebody.
Can you kind of, I think that's great, by the way, too. A lot of people are going to pick up on that.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us a story, just a quick kind of snippet of the book and maybe a life lesson that's included in that story?
Okay. I
know you have a lot to choose from, right?
Yeah, right. But you know what? The one that I choose is whenever we lost my mom, the breast cancer. My mom was a minister. My dad is a pastor. So we were deeply enrooted in you praying, you trusting, you believing. He's a healer. He's going to do it because we asked him, you said receive, believe it in your heart, that whole thing. But then when the doctor comes in and tells you got 6 months to live, and we was like, okay, that's what he say. But what does he say? And then 6 months to the date, you take your last breath.
Wow.
So you feeling some kind of way. You like, okay, now you doing too much up there, Jesus. You know, that's the way I felt. I was upset. I was mad. Didn't want to go to church. Didn't want to laugh. Didn't want to make nobody else laugh. Didn't want to smile because I felt some kind of way. And honey, I was so silly with it. I was looking through people and I was like, now Lord, I see 3 people you could have took. Now why you took mama? You know what I'm saying? They ain't helping nobody out. You know, just selfish. And then I got upset. And then I had to realize, Kita, you've been in a lot of fights in your life. Now who you think gonna win out of you and him? And then I realized,
that's a great question.
You understand? I was like, I ain't want to wake up dead. So I was like, Lord, I'm sorry. And I had to get my mind right. So even with going through that whole transition, and I was wondering why. They was like, you never question God. That's what people say. But I've read plenty of parables and stories where people did, and I'm hard-headed anyway, so I want to know why. Why would you do something like that? Because I was about to lose my way, right? And it was one day, it was like, he spoke to him, he was like, I heard your prayer, but I answered hers. So it was just from that point on, I was okay. Because she didn't want what we wanted. We wanted her to be here because we didn't want you to go. We didn't want to lose you. She was tired. She was okay. She was ready to go on. So I had to learn at that point, how do you go on from something that's final? Something you can't get back, something you can't redo. You can't do anything but accept it. So you either going to accept it and be in a slump, or you going to accept it and move on. So that's how I was able to come to the whole thought process of, you know what, I got to do something to get through this. And like I said, as a nurse, I already knew that you either going to deal with things or you'll be on medication to help you deal with it. And I didn't want to do that. I dealt with depression. I dealt with a whole bunch of different things, even with growing up. So mentally, I didn't want to go back to that. I didn't want to go back to that Kita that didn't want to come outside, that have the low self-esteem and all that other stuff that I talk about in my comedy. So I decided then that I was going to push forward I was going to take all that negative energy, everything that was hurting me, everything that was binding me up, and I was going to push forward, and I was going to get past it. I was going to get through it. And I went to bed one night, and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling some kind of way. This is absolutely terrible. You know, I don't even know if I should be a comedian. Why should I stand before people? Why would people want to hear me? How I feel like I can make people laugh. I started going back. And clear as day, I heard my mom. She used to always tell me. She was like, she called me Skeeter. And she was like, Skeeter, I don't know where you get this foolishness from, honey, because you look like your mama. You better get yourself together. She was like, you got to remember, you are somebody. She used to always tell me that. And I went to bed, sleep, I woke up, and I still was thinking, why should I even go on? And that's when I heard her speak, because you are somebody. And I wrote the word bias, didn't know why I wrote it. I wrote it down. Next morning I got up to get ready to go to work, and I seen the word bias, and I was like, because I am somebody. That's how bias was even created. That's how it was created in my dark place. So I know that if I have a dark place, everybody else do too. Everybody just don't know how to go towards the light.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because you're right. There's a lot of people that have hurt, maybe church hurt, or a situation they went through where they felt like this was unfair. Maybe they was abused as a child.
There you go.
And they feel like, hey, God was not there for me.
He was there.
But there's a way to get past it.
There's a way to get past. There's a way to go to the light. You know, but at first the name of the book was going to be The Bias Movement. And then, you know, I talked to other people and stuff. They was like, Nikita, everything you're saying is true story. They was like, why don't you call it True Story? And my first DVD was called True Story. And I was like, God, that's hot. And then The Bias Movement, they was like, Kita, it's a movement. You want to reach people. You want to do things. And that's how I ended up doing The Bias Movement. And I actually have a center in my hometown, Lancaster, and we developing it and getting it situated now, because we want to be able to help build families up and help work with people and help get them to a place they need to be, so they'll feel confident enough to know that, you know what, I am somebody. Because sometimes we know we deserve something, because you done been through so much, you done been beat down, you done felt some kind of way, people done said whatever they done said, and you feel like, I deserve that, but you don't feel like you're worthy enough for it. So you need to know that you're worthy.
I want to touch base on this depression that you were going through. Everybody, I don't care who you are, everyone has gone through that at some point in time. And I think a lot of people have said, which they haven't done it, some have, but I don't even want to be here right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, maybe like even when your mother passed away, you can get into a deep, deep depression.
Yeah.
How did you learn to overcome that naturally?
I learned it through talking to somebody, because even with coming up, we was raised in the country, so you don't tell people your business. You know,
because everyone in the whole town will know your business.
You don't tell people your business, and you know, you don't go and talk to nobody, and no, you don't even go talk to them doctor people, because they just want to be nosy. They making money from knowing your business, but that's not so. And it was only until I went through nursing school to see people that didn't seek out help, that didn't talk to people and different things like that, and I knew I didn't want to be that person. So it's just being able to talk to people and just having that that spiritual foundation.
So don't be scared to confide in somebody.
Everybody needs somebody.
And always lean on your source.
Always lean on your source. Jesus had 12 dudes that walked with him. So I mean, really.
He had 12 dudes?
He had 12 dudes, yes. Represent your clique.
Well, we appreciate you for coming out.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure that the people that are viewing the program have learned a lot by you being here today. I mean, it's great that you do comedy out of, you know, all the things that happen in life, so they can see themselves and they can enhance themselves and laugh at the same time.
I thank you.
We appreciate you guys for watching the Community Spotlight. Make sure you tune in next week, same time, same place, for another awesome guest that's coming into the studio.